ACM Gold and Forex Trading says online trading in South Africa has almost doubled in the past 3 years. But to what degree has that growth been matched by high exposure to risk, especially for those with no investment experience? To answer that question and more, we're joined in studio by Irfan Pardesi, or rather Irfan Pardesi, the CEO of ACM Gold. Irfan, thank you so much for coming in. Now, you speak about a 10%, or rather 10% of the population expected to use online trading, I think in the next 5 to 7 years. What are the attractions of this particular platform?
Look, pretty much the wave of investment unfortunately starts from the west and comes east. And to give you an example, in a country like UK, we are currently sitting with 50 million population, 12 million traders who are actually trying to gain exposure in these markets and trying to take advantage of these markets. In South Africa, the numbers range currently between 150 and 250,000. So you can actually look at the historical pattern. But besides that, the technology is really allowing us to be able to trade and get exposure in financial markets across the world. I mean, you can sit with your mobile phone, you can sit with your laptop right now and start trading in any assets around the world with a very, very low entry point. And with the current knowledge, more and more people would actually like to sort of take control of their own finances in their own hands.
Yeah.
And because of this information flow and all these three things perfectly getting together, people are wanting to get exposed to these markets.
But to what degree was that interest to take control of your investments to a certain degree further fueled by the 2008 financial crisis, where we saw a lot of people losing money to what was later described as unwise investment options by their asset managers?
Well, it's okay. I think that's a brilliant thing that you actually bring in, because 2008, 2009 is when ACM Gold literally caught trouble every single year up until today. And we actually saw an emerging market and an environment where people were saying, hang on a second, if these guys who have been claiming that they understand the markets extremely well, if they could not control their emotions, and the very few, the small asset managers who could control their emotions, even in those markets they made money. So they actually started thinking to themselves that the information is free now. Information is available. The privilege that these traders or these asset managers used to have 20 years ago of information, that's not there anymore.
Okay, information is free, but not without risk, especially if you don't necessarily know what you're doing, in which case, which is why you would have trusted somebody with insider knowledge to handle your finances. If you take a look at online trading, I mean, what are the main risks if you have no idea of what you're doing, but you are promised greater returns?
So if the customer is trading himself, look, end of the day, the risk is just about the emotions. The risk is about the person personally getting involved and being able to control the emotions from a perspective of having a realistic approach of how much money does he want to make, and have a realistic approach of when does he want to exit the market. What happens is the fear comes in between. So it's not necessarily about the financial markets or overall understanding or the in-depth knowledge of the markets. It's more about, I would like to invest 5,000 rands on a product that I understand, like a Facebook, like a Google, like a Twitter, like gold, like silver, because now the overall market is open, right? That's where a company like ourselves really get in, because now we give you exposure of 14,000 instruments around the world. So you are emotionally attached to these markets, but at the same time, when you're investing this money, you should actually think to yourself, I'm going with 5,000 rands. I feel Facebook will appreciate in value. If I make 500 out of this 5,000, I'm going to get out of the market. If I'm losing some money, maybe I'm wrong, I'm going to get out of the market. Don't just hold on to those positions and say, you know what, my initial decision was the best decision, I can never be wrong. Stop thinking that way. And because of the technology and because of the tools that are available to you, one can easily do that. Stop believing in people who actually say to you, I'm going to give you a 5% a month return, a 10% a month return when it comes down to online trading. Those are the people who are actually diminishing the value that this product really provides. Forget about those guys. Stick to yourself, put your money, and start trading yourself. What
about liquidity? Because I understand that most of these trades happen after the market has closed. How easier is it for you to actually turn your stock into real money?
So actually, the liquidity is the best part. If you take all the global exchanges in the world and you put together the total volume that those exchanges generate on a daily basis, multiply that by 20. That's how much liquidity there is in Forex. So you can essentially get into the market, get out of the market any given second.
Okay.
There will never be a point in your trading experience where you don't have a buyer for a seller or a seller for a buyer, which is what happened in 2008, 2009 financial crisis. They couldn't find buyers. Here, there's no problem. $5 trillion a day. That is huge. And it's what we understand and what we really feel and what we really believe is New York or London became a financial center because the people of that environment, people who were brought up there, they understood what was happening in the global markets. For us to become a financial center, for Santon to become a financial center, what we really need to see is we really need to understand that people should be actually exposed to the global markets, because that's the only way they'll acquire knowledge. If you have a financial interest in something, you will acquire knowledge. So it's not just a way to make money. It's actually a way to expose yourself to the rest of the world of what's going around the world.
Irfan, thank you so much for your time. We could talk about this issue for the whole day, in fact. Thank you so much for your time and for coming in. Irfan Pardesi, the CEO of ACM Gold.